On this edition of Lexington Now, Part 1 of 2023, A Year in Review. Merry Christmas, I'm Neil Noah, and welcome to Lexington Now for the week of December 25th, 2023. As is our tradition on Lex TV, we take time at the end of each year to look back at some of the big stories that helped shape Lexington over the past 12 months. We begin this year with the inauguration of the most diverse council in Lexington history.
As I call your name and the district you represent, please stand and remain standing. Vice Mayor Dan Wu, Councilman at Large. Council Member at Large James Brown. First District Council Member Tana Fogel. Second District Council Member Shayla Lynch. Third District Council Member Hannah Legree. Fifth District Council Member Liz Sheehan. Sixth District Council Member Denise Gray. Eighth District Council Member Fred Brown. Ninth District Council Member Whitney Baxter. 10th District Council Member David Savigny. 11th District Council Member Jennifer Reynolds. 12th District Council Member Kathy Ploman. 3 of the members could not be here today, but have already been sworn in, and let's give them a round of applause after I say 3 of their names. Council Member at Large Chuck Ellinger, 4th District Council Member Brenda Meneres, and 7th District Council Member Preston Worley. Give them all a round of applause. Thank you for your service, and take stock of the diversity in this photo right here. Yes. Indeed, it is a city for all. At this time, Fayette County Chief Circuit Court Judge Kimberly Bunnell will now come to administer the oath of office.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd please raise your right hands. Do each of you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky, so long as you continue a citizen thereof, and that you will faithfully execute, to the best of your ability, the office of Council Member, Lexington Fayette Urban County Government, according to law? And do you further solemnly swear or affirm that since the adoption of the present Constitution, that you, being a citizen of this state, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within this state nor out of it, nor have you sent or accepted a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor have you acted as second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending, so help you God? I do. Thank you.
You know, a lot has been written this year about the diversity of the new council. For the first time, we have 6 people of color on council, 3 African-American women, 1 African-American man, and our first Latina council member. Not to mention a record 9 women along with members of our LGBTQ community. I am proud to be Lexington's first Asian American council member and vice mayor. But we are not here to check off boxes, and we are not here just to be the first of anything. We are here to bring our unique voices, perspectives, and lived experiences to city government. We, all of us on council, represent different parts of our city, geographically, demographically, and socially. And I have hope that this diversity is what will make us strong, creative, and compassionate enough to represent you, the people of Lexington. I am humbled beyond words to be up here today, and I am so proud of my fellow council members, new and returning. Thank you so much for your faith in us, and I look forward to working with my colleagues on council, Mayor Gordon, and everyone in this room to make Lexington an even better home for all of us.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and be faithful and be true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky, so long as you continue a citizen thereof, and that you will continue to faithfully execute to the best of your ability the office of Mayor, Lexington Fayette Urban County Government, according to law? And do you further solemnly swear or affirm that since the adoption of the present Constitution, that you, being a citizen of the state, that you have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within this state nor out of it, nor have you sent or accepted a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor have you acted as second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Absolutely.
Over almost 250 years, our strengths, the secrets of our success, have been our people and our land. As demonstrated by our past and our present, dedication to community is something people in Lexington have always understood. I know we can build on our success, and I challenge each of you here today to get involved. Roll up your sleeves for your community.
This past year marked the 100th anniversary of the old Dunbar High School, now the Dunbar Community Center, an occasion marked by Mayor Gordon with a proclamation.
So this building, first as a high school and then as a community center, has packed a lot of living into its 100 years. High achievement, academic and athletic excellence, important recreational programs, and much, much more. Across generations, it has molded and shaped our youth, instilling a drive to excellence and personal pride. Representative George Brown, a school alumnus who couldn't be here for this news conference, said teachers at Dunbar taught him to work without ceasing to reach the highest level of achievement. As a community center, Dunbar's recreation programs have met important needs for our community's young people, including people with disabilities. And I am very proud of the many activities that take place right here. It's my honor today to present this proclamation, and I would like to ask to receive it the members of the Dunbar Advisory Board. Would all of you come forward? We'll do this as a group. These members of the Advisory Board are committed to serving Dunbar and the community and what happens right here. So we appreciate you. And just kind of come around, and I'm gonna read the proclamation and then I'll present it to you. Whereas Dunbar High School opened on February 15th, 1923, and whereas Dunbar was the first all-black high school in Kentucky to be admitted into the Southern Association of Colleges and Secondary Schools, and whereas Dunbar High School closed in 1967 due to desegregation of the schools in Lexington, and whereas the heritage of the original Dunbar High School lives on in this Dunbar Community Center, and whereas through education, the arts, and sports, Dunbar High School had a great influence on its alumni and on the community. And whereas Dunbar Community Center is continuing in that tradition, offering creative programming to our young people, thanks to the many contributions of Lexington Parks and Recreation and community partners. Now, therefore, I, Linda Gorton, Mayor of Lexington, do hereby declare February 15th, 2023 Dunbar Centennial Day in Lexington. Congratulations. Come on, y'all. Hear this.
Dunbar Center, former Dunbar High School, is the heartbeat of the East End. It has a vein that stretches all the way to Winchester Road, and it even crosses Broadway into the West End, because this is the center that people come to so that they can engage in activities and they can learn how to build relationships. They have a beautiful park outside. This is such an awesome experience for me today. My sister, Margaret Sweat, she graduated from Dunbar. I remember S.T. Roach, and I'm not going to start calling out names because we have our state representative who is a graduate from Dunbar, and he used to be the first district council. So as you can see, relationships are built.
Looking forward, I would hope that everyone would take away that our local government, under the care of our Division of Parks and Recreation, considers ourselves very fortunate to be the unit that gets to come to Dunbar and make sure that these doors remain open, that there's vitality, that there's activity, and that the legacy of Dunbar School and Community Center continues to live on. As Councilmember Fogle mentioned, the mayor and I earlier today were a few blocks down 5th Street celebrating another important part of our community, the Palmer Pharmacy Building. We passed the keys to our community partners at the United Way. Today's centennial at Dunbar in some ways allows us to make sure that we keep the torch lit and that we continue to pass the torch of this great legacy and history at Dunbar.
The pandemic years were hard on everyone, especially those who found themselves unable to afford the expenses of housing. Lexington's Housing Stabilization Fund stepped in to help those in need, and that was extended into 2023.
Lexington's Housing Stabilization Program has been very successful in providing assistance to those at the biggest risk of losing their housing during the pandemic. From the program's start in February of 2021, it has provided $46.5 million of assistance to over 6,300 Lexington households and 1,100 landlords. A lot of families avoided evictions during the months that COVID-19 turned our economy upside down. Thanks to this emergency funding and a lot of hard work on behalf of our employees and Community Action Council, thank you, Sharon Price, again, we were able to keep thousands of people in their homes. With the remainder of our one-time federal dollars for this program, we will continue to provide assistance while expanding services to include mediation with landlords and access to legal counsel for tenants facing eviction. Judge Gunther and the Fayette District Court have been heavily involved in the planning of these new services, and the court is helping launch this initiative. The services we are adding will keep more people in their homes and help others relocate to more sustainable housing. We are collaborating with the legal aid of the Bluegrass and Kentucky Equal Justice Center. Both are essential partners. Together, they are receiving $1.9 million in one-time federal funding to continue this program while funds are available.
Housing is such an essential foundational role for people to keep them out of poverty, without an address for a job application or keeping children in the same school for that stability. It's really important to be able to have people in the housing that they choose to live in for a time without it going away unexpectedly. And we'll do that in 3 ways with our partnership through the mediation project that the mayor announced, and also through an expansion and continuation of our rental assistance for tenants and landlords, and then also for direct assistance and representation in eviction cases filed by landlords.
As Karen said, shelter is a basic need, but housing stability is more than that. It's a foundation for children to learn, for parents to parent, for workers to work, for seniors to age in place peacefully. It's a foundation for neighborhoods and communities to prosper. Kentucky Equal Justice Center is proud to join the project partnership to achieve housing stability as we take steps to link people with legal help toward right to counsel in eviction. We're actually affirming the great principle of equal access to justice. We also recognize that right to counsel in eviction is a protection late in the game. We will devote our housing outreach to connecting people not just with lawyers, but with information and resources they can use to empower themselves to achieve housing stability.
Over the past 2.5 years, we've started with rent assistance and then expanded into a presence in court, and we've built an infrastructure that has hopefully forever changed our community and how we work with people who struggle to pay their rent. We never want anyone in our community to face eviction. That's our first goal. And right now we're still making millions of dollars assistance available to prevent that. But we also need additional tools, and that's what the programming here today will help us with. Paying back rent always isn't enough. Sometimes we need additional support, and we want to make sure that our tenants in Lexington have a level playing field when they go into the court, and that they get access to representation by an attorney and have an opportunity to mediate their case and seek a more positive outcome, even if that outcome means they still have to move to a new place. Because if they don't have an eviction on their record, that means they are going to have a much easier time finding their next apartment. We still have a lot of work to do as a community to make sure that everyone here has access to safe, decent, affordable housing, but we're moving the ball down the field, and today we go a little further.
We know that legal representation is a powerful tool in preventing evictions and helping people relocate to more sustainable housing without the strain of an eviction on their record. I would like again to thank our many community partners for helping with this important work. It couldn't be done without you.
When we come back, we continue our look at 2023.
I'm Lieutenant Chris Van Brackle with the Lexington Police Department Traffic Unit. Today we are talking about disability accessible parking and the aisles between those parking places. Accessible parking is a valuable and necessary resource for people with disabilities, and that includes the striped area next to accessible parking spots. These are access aisles, and it is illegal to park here, even if you have an accessible parking permit. Police and LexPark will write tickets when they see vehicles parked in an access aisle or parked in an accessible space without a placard, and the fine is $250. Know where and where not to park, keep the access aisles clear. Thank you, and drive safe.
Welcome back to Lexington Now. The Hope Center got some welcome news in the form of the announcement of the addition of transitional and veterans housing to help those experiencing tough times to get back on their feet.
You know, the growth of the Hope Center campus and programs over the last 30 years has been inspired by the evolving needs of our clients. We began through the merging of the Horizon Center and Community Kitchen to provide food and shelter to those who were hungry or homeless. And once again, Ms. Cravens and Ms. Hensley, we thank you for that. You know, the team discovered early that without focusing on the root causes of homelessness, the Hope Center really could not help our neighbors achieve long-term success. Now, we are much more than just a shelter. If you just take a drive along Loudon Avenue or Versailles Road, you'll drive past our buildings where the lives of men and women are being transformed. They're recovering from substance use disorder. They're mentoring their peers. They're finding affordable drug-free and alcohol-free housing. They're getting fed. They're receiving life skills training and also job skills development. The vision for adding this transitional and veterans housing project has been several years in the making for us. We've been serving the community through the emergency shelter and permanent housing, but there are not enough transitional housing opportunities in the community to meet the need. Our Hope Center team intends to be a part of that solution. With 72 beds now available in a transitional housing environment and dedicating 24 of those to veterans, we'll have the room to move clients into a more suitable housing on their path to self-sufficiency. We'll be able to support clients who primarily need a stepping stone to restabilize in order to return to our community.
We share the belief that every single Kentuckian deserves to grow up happy, healthy, and safe. And unfortunately, too many of our friends and family members and neighbors are living with the trauma that accompanies the overdose epidemic. And if we know anything, it is that we are all vulnerable. Money, status, physical health, none of these spare us from the grips of addiction. I like to say every single Kentucky family has some kind of experience with the issue of addiction in their families. Just like it doesn't matter where we live, where we work, where we worship, or who we vote for. And that's why I'm thrilled to see everybody here today. So many leaders, from elected officials to healthcare heroes to leaders in our private sector in the community. Your presence here speaks volumes about how important this work truly is. This program is another option for Kentuckians to get to the treatment that will ultimately benefit them and everyone around them. The Hope Center is part of a larger Recovery Kentucky system, which works at the state level to help Kentuckians with substance abuse and homelessness, which are often intertwined. While amazing groups like the Hope Center have provided emergency housing shelters, we have seen an increased need for transitional housing throughout the state to help folks get back on their feet. This transitional and veterans housing addition will add over 18,000 square feet of space. It'll include 72 transitional housing units, 24 of which will be designated for veterans housing. We all know that the Commonwealth cannot reach its full potential when some of our citizens are weighed down by addiction. So this opportunity is important now as it ever has been in Kentucky.
I wanted to say that this transitional housing is going to fill such a need. You heard there'll be 72 beds, 24 of which are going to be dedicated to veterans. This is a big deal for our community. My administration has been working to stamp out veteran homelessness since my very first days in office. We're still moving forward on that, and you may remember that back in 2019, we created a system and infrastructure to make veteran homelessness here in Fayette County rare, brief, and non-recurring. It's been a huge effort by a lot of people. So today, we're breaking ground on housing that will improve that system for veterans and others. Transitional housing gives us the opportunity to provide better living conditions and provide better services that can get our veterans and others into permanent housing. I'm so happy that the city is a partner in this work with you. We have dedicated considerable resources in American Rescue Plan funds to address homelessness and to build affordable housing. I know there's still a lot of work to do, there always is, Even so, I'm very proud of the progress we have all made together. Programs like these help our residents rebuild their lives and improve the quality of life for everyone. So congratulations to Rufus Friday, to Kathy Jacobs and the board, and to everyone here at the Hope Center. You each had a part in this. It's challenging work, we know this, but we're all grateful that you have taken this on for our community and, more importantly, for our people.
As opioid abuse has continued to rise, Lexington has received funds as part of a settlement against drug companies, allowing for the creation of the Opioid Abatement Commission.
Commissioners, you have an important job ahead of you. You will make recommendations to the administration and the Urban County Council on how best to use funds received from the National Opioid Litigation Settlement. This is a very big deal. These funds will come to Lexington from drug companies that helped fuel the epidemic. They will come, we believe, over the next 20 years. This is not just today, it's a long-term approach. Like many cities and states, Lexington joined a lawsuit with multiple defendants that has resulted in an agreement that will provide significant resources. Some defendants have already settled. Others have declared bankruptcy. The litigation continues. Lexington has been in the trenches of fighting the opioid battle for several years. We won 2 federal grants, a total of $4 million, to purchase and distribute life-saving Narcan. Working with the health department and our first responders, we've distributed 34,000 doses of Narcan. Even so, overdose deaths continue to increase. We have had significant setbacks because of the pandemic and the isolation it produced, and because of the introduction of fentanyl, which is deadly, as we all know. Before I introduce our next speaker, I want to also recognize Commissioner Susan Speckert, who's with us. She is my Commissioner of Law and has been highly involved in the legal part of this settlement. We are very glad to have some new resources to help us and some expertise to guide us. We're looking for sustainable solutions. Dr. Ragland, if you will join me at the podium, we would like to hear more from you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, and thank you to Mayor Linda Gordman, to council members and other city officials, to my fellow commissioners present and those who are in absentia, and to all of you who are present today. I count it an honor and a privilege to serve as the chair of the Opioid Abatement Committee. When I received the call from Mayor Gordon, I was honored and ready to join her in this effort to help our community. I've worked in the field of substance abuse for over 22 years on many levels and on different modalities of treatment. We've been blessed over the last few years to receive funding to fight against the opioid epidemic. And there have been many obstacles that have come our way, and it appears that our work may have been in vain. The mayor spoke of the pandemic, which played a major role in the increased risk, I believe due to isolation and also depression. We've received another blessing that will help us continue to combat the ever-rising deaths due to the travesty and increase of substance use disorders with the mixture of fentanyl and heroin and other opioids. I am excited to be working alongside our mayor, our co-chair, Tara Stansfield, and the other commissioners, along with Mr. Brian Hubbard and all others who bring a diverse wealth of knowledge and expertise that will be used to provide the most practical, efficient, and ethical recommendations to the mayor and the council to utilize this funding received from the opioid abatement settlement. We've come a long way, but we have such a long way to go. But with the help of God and all of us, the hope is that we take back our loved ones, that we take back our communities, and bring a sense of healing to all. God bless you, and again, thank you, Mayor, for your trust in we commissioners as we go about to do the work that has been assigned our hands. And we thank you for your leadership throughout Fayette County. Thank you.
20 years ago, Lexington became one of the first major cities in the nation to enact an indoor smoking ban.
Today we are celebrating the 20th anniversary of Lexington's historic ordinance prohibiting indoor smoking in public places. We remember the date, July the 1st, 2003, when we passed this ordinance. This is a big deal. Lexington, yes. Lexington's ordinance has had an enormous impact on the health of Lexington citizens as well as those who visit Lexington. In terms of public health, it is one of the most important, if not the most important, ordinances we have passed in the last 20 years. It has saved countless lives. Back in 2003 and continuing today, the goal of this work has been to give people access to clean air and a healthy environment. After Lexington's smoke-free law took effect, there was a reduction in heart attacks and emergency department visits for asthma, and the smoking rate in Fayette County declined nearly 32%. This ordinance paved the way for the University of Kentucky, Dr. Todd, to adopt a tobacco-free campus to protect the health of students, employees, and visitors. I'm just so proud of everyone who has been involved over the years with this effort. We have left a public health legacy for our city's workers and residents.
So I was honored to be one of those who recommended Lexington pursue an ordinance to prohibit smoking inside public buildings. I kind of thought they'd laugh us out of the room, but they didn't, and they asked if we would help them pull together a plan to do so. The ordinance wound its way through the Service Committee. It was a subject of multiple meetings. The public was engaged in a lively debate. Some were for, some were against, but at the end of the day, the ordinance that was originally designed by David Stevens to be restaurants only covered all restaurants, bars, and public buildings open to the public. And the law, I might say later, was strengthened by the council to include all workplaces and electronic cigarettes, the use of electronic cigarettes or vapes. Since then, 58 other Kentucky communities have passed smoke-free ordinances because of Lexington. Yeah. Most of them are strong laws, like our law, covering all workplaces, public places, bars, restaurants, et cetera. And we now protect 38.2% of Kentuckians. So if you live in a place like Lexington, we have fewer newly diagnosed cases of lung cancer every year. Pretty awesome, right? We have fewer preterm births. You know, and preterm births cost a lot of money to take care of these little tiny babies. So we have fewer preterm births in places with comprehensive smoke-free laws like Lexington's, and we have fewer youth smokers. So fewer kids start smoking, and fewer kids even use smokeless tobaccos. So we know the benefit of these laws. Please join me in thanking Mayor Gordon and all the council members for their pro-health leadership.
We got a national award for being the first major university in America to go smoke-free. And when I went out to receive that award, which was due to Ellen's effort, the people that were there said, we could never get this through our board of trustees. How did you do this? And it really was, I think, lubricated by the efforts that were made by the restaurants here that are represented and by the city. And it was the right thing to do. And I want to applaud President Eli Capilouto for keeping this vision going on smoke-free, but also setting up facilities to attack the problems, these things that Kentuckians need to fix, because if we fix our health and fix our education, we'll have a different state and a better state. So congratulations to everybody here who had the courage to do what you've done. Let's keep it up and make Kentucky a better place. Thank you. Thank you.
That's all for now, but as always, you can keep up with us on social media. Check out the latest traffic updates on X at LexRex, or catch our live traffic cams on lexingtonky.gov. Tune in next week as we continue our look back at 2023. For all of us at Lex TV, I'm Neil Noah, and that's it.